Welcome to this session on access to education and autism. During this session, I will present to you the state of play as regards the support needs of autistic people and how they are met across Europe, based on a survey conducted in 2019 by Autism Europe and the ensuring recommendation that we have adopted to ensure better access to support for autistic learners across Europe at all levels of education. So first, a small word about education and autism. So we know that there is approximately 5 million people in Europe who are on the autism spectrum. So it's approximately 1% of the population, and it's well evidenced that unfortunately autistic people are more likely to face discrimination when accessing all levels of education in Europe, which has a negative impact on their life outcome. Autistic learners have educational support needs, and they need to be met in order for them to thrive. So indeed, access to education is simply a right. It's a right that is enshrined in the UN Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities. It is notably in Article 24 that provides that disabled people are not to be excluded from the general education system and should be supported through reasonable accommodation, we'll come back to that, appropriate support, and effective individualized support measures. It's also a policy principle of the European Union, notably through the European Pillar of Social Rights. Everyone has the right to quality and inclusive education, training and lifelong learning in order to maintain and acquire skills that enable them to participate fully in society and manage successfully transition in the labor market. So, as many European countries have adopted the UN Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities, they are now changing their legislation in order to become more inclusive in terms of education. So they're changing their education system across Europe, and we see more and more autistic learners that are included at school in mainstream schools in Europe. So Autism Europe wanted to gain a better picture of the situation across Europe, and for this purpose we decided to launch a survey. But before that, we decided to launch focus group in order to be sure to get the question right and to look at the areas of concerns for our members. So we launched the focus group in 2018, and important aspects were identified. So access to individualized educational plan, reasonable accommodation, flexibility of the curriculum, autism-specific training, support in transition, and access to lifelong learning. Following this exercise, we finally launched the survey across Europe thanks to the support of our members, and we collected 2,200 responses from 25 member states of the European Union, but also from countries outside of the EU. So what were the results of the survey globally? Across the 25 EU member states, it seems that it's in primary school that people felt that autistic learners were better supported. Then it came to preschools, and the level of support seemed to be falling already for secondary school, but was very low when it came to university and vocational training. So looking more specifically at the different areas of support that we've identified, we looked at the responses across various countries, and here I'm just going to present to you a few examples of various countries for each domain. So in France, 38% of the respondents knew of an individualized educational plan, so it's only 2 out of 5. In Italy, there were reports of educational plan, individual educational plan, but people on average felt that they were not implemented in a satisfactory manner, and that there was a lack of cooperation in order to evaluate progress and to liaise with family. In Belgium, most respondents reported that there was no consistent use of individualized plan in the various regions. And in Spain, less than half knew of such plan, which around 2 out of 5 respondents pointing out that autistic people were not consulted and involved in the design of such plan. So what do we recommend in that regard? It's essential to adopt a learner-centered approach to make sure that autistic learners are being involved together with their family in defining the individual plans, the desired outcome. It's also essential that attention is paid to the specific needs of girls and women on the autism spectrum, as their support needs may differ. An efficient educational plan cannot succeed without having a multidisciplinary approach and involving all key stakeholders. So for some learners it might be also important to involve, for example, speech therapist, language therapist in the plan. It's also important to establish specialized learning support team that have specific knowledge of autism in order to support autistic learners. To have efficient methods of communication between departments in schools, between professionals, with parents, and including, of course, at transition time, so that all important stakeholders are continuously informed on progress. And apart from the school, it's also important that more generally in the community parents benefit from adequate support. So then we looked at another dimension, that is access to reasonable accommodation. Reasonable accommodation can be defined as adaptations that are made to the environment, to the school, in order to address specific needs of autistic learners. So, for example, it can be to pay attention to the sound and the light environment, to provide specific support at certain unstructured time for children to take part in school activities. So looking at a few cases across Europe, we see that there is not a lot of reasonable accommodation that is provided. In Malta, only a few respondents reported the fact that there was one-to-one support available. In Germany, only 12% of the respondents know from their experience that there is accommodation for sensory needs. And regarding supporting the communication, the social communication of autistic learners, in the Netherlands, only 8% of the respondents indicated that such support existed. What do we recommend? What would be important reasonable accommodation for autistic learners? It's essential that autistic learners have access to one-to-one time with professionals in order to benefit from adequate support. It can be indeed with teachers, but also with some school assistants. It's also important that that the built environment is considered also for autistic children. It can be about improving the lighting, and the soundproofing aspects of a building in order to help autistic learners to really concentrate. In terms of reasonable accommodation, of course, for autistic learners, visual support and assistive technology can really help, paired with adequate training of teachers. Another area of concern was flexible curriculum. In most of the EU countries, it was not possible at all to have any possibility of flexibility for autistic learners in their curriculum. A very small minority of respondents from France and Poland indicated that their education system in their area offers flexibility for autistic pupils and students to get their diploma. 9% of respondents from Germany and 15% from Spain indicated that education system in their country does offer flexibility for autistic pupils and students to get their diploma. What do we recommend in that regard? It's important to promote a flexible curriculum so that autistic learners are not held back by certain topics. It's also important to provide opportunities in the curriculum to develop social skills and life skills to enhance participation and independence in family, school, and community activities and to foster inclusion. Offering support concerning organizational skills of autistic learners is also very important, owing to the fact that many autistic learners have difficulties with executive functioning, for example. Then we looked at another important area, which is autism-specific teachers training. We asked respondents to assess whether they felt teachers had a good understanding of autism. And here is what we gathered from various countries. In France, on teachers having an adequate understanding of autism, almost half strongly disagreed that there was an understanding. In Germany, 3% strongly agreed, and around 1 in 3 strongly disagreed that they had an understanding. In Poland, it was a bit more nuanced. 13% strongly agreed that they had an understanding, 13%, and 16% strongly disagreed that they had an understanding. It's essential for teachers to be adequately trained to support autistic learners. So we do recommend to develop autistic-specific standardized training with a strong practical dimension, because theory is not enough. Teachers need to learn about techniques and learning methods that will allow them to best support autistic learners. It is important to have mandatory autism-specific training and neurodiversity training for teachers. And also this training should be made available for all support staff working in educational environments. So not only teachers, but also other professionals that are in contact with autistic learners. Also, it's important that newly qualified teachers benefit from peer support and that they benefit from support from senior staff through mentoring in order to acquire more experience working with autistic learners. And it's not enough to have initial training. The training needs to be continuous. It should be free, and it should be easily accessible to all professionals as knowledge and practice evolves. Another area that was identified by our members as quite critical was the transition period. Transition time between schools, but also between education and employment. So what is the situation that we observed across Europe? In Germany, regarding the support available, only 19% said that they knew of any support, with 53% saying that there was no support at all at transition time. In Italy, only 35% of the respondents knew of any support, with 52% saying that there was no support. Equally, in Spain, 2/3, 62%, said that there was no support. And in Poland, only 5% of the respondents knew of support offered to autistic learners during transition between different levels of education, while almost half of the respondents indicated that there was no such support. So we can see that there is an overwhelming majority of respondents who felt, across various countries, who felt that this support during transition was really lacking. So what do we recommend in that regard? We recommend creating systematic roundtables, an efficient transition mechanism to help with transition times that are very critical for autistic learners. It requires a coordinated, joint approach which brings together all those involved. It's important also to help learners to adapt. For example, to give them the opportunity to visit their new schools before they start the year, and to meet the teacher, for example. It's important also to foster support and raise awareness of peers, for example, by establishing buddy programs so that inclusion is easier, social inclusion is easier for autistic learners. And it's important as well that transition is considered as a key area, and that autism-specific support services are developed to help people not to fall through the crack after they complete their studies. So to help people to transition from education to employment. The last area that we considered was access to lifelong learning. Across the EU, only 22% of all respondents knew of any support for autistic learners for vocational training and apprenticeship. 31% said that there was no support at all available, and almost half did not know of any support. So one respondent noted that there was only one specialist autistic college which covered an urban area of over 1 million people. One respondent from the Netherlands pointed out that efforts are being made, but too individual and too little depending on employers' commitment. One respondent from Spain said, according to educational administration, support must be provided in compulsory education, which does not include support for post-obligatory stages. So we really consider that access to lifelong learning is a right. So we recommend ensuring access to vocational training and to run pilot programs for apprenticeship to foster gold standards. We also recommend to encourage employers to develop apprenticeship programs for autistic learners by offering them financial incentives. It's also important that the commitment at the EU level to make lifelong learning and mobility a reality for all is upheld by making all relevant programs such as Erasmus+ accessible for autistic people. And we need to ensure that all universities and higher education establishments are accessible and have staff trained in autism and in disability to offer appropriate support. So that's the end of my presentation. We've covered a lot of areas in a relatively short time. Of course, if you're interested in knowing more, please do not hesitate to contact Autism Europe, and thank you very much for your attention.